So as most of you know, my selection of choice when it comes to game consoles has, and as far as I can see, will always be Nintendo. Normally, whenever I buy two consoles, I usually buy more for Nintendo's than I do for the other one. Even with the original PlayStation 1, I only bought a handful of games. And no, I didn't have Metal Gear Solid. Everyone asked me why I didn't have that one. Even my Spanish teacher. No, Miss Cantu, I still haven't played it yet. So with my limited selection of PlayStation 1 titles, it was easy for Ape Escape to be my favorite. Sadly, I didn't have a PlayStation 2 at the time it was popular because I was too busy enjoying my GameCube. So I wasn't able to get Ape Escape 2, though I'll look for that someday as well. But I was able to pick up a copy of Ape Escape 3, which I'll review today. Yes, I know that was a long-winded explanation that told you nothing about the game, but really this one didn't have a big history behind it. It's just the third platforming installment in the Ape Escape series, and it came out in 2006 for the PlayStation 2. Cut me some slack, not every game has a long or interesting development behind it. Oh, and expect to hear the word monkey a lot in this review. Short story, even shorter, Spectre is back and is using TV programs that his army is making to hypnotize the humans who watch them. The heroes from the first two games and the professor fell victim, and now Natalie asks the professor's assistant Aki and her niece Yumi and her nephew Kei for help. I don't know the details too well about what happened in the second game, but in the first one, Spike accidentally went back in time with the apes, so it made sense that he was their only hope. Here, you have a full-grown adult who could help, but she lets her niece and nephew go after those dangerous monkeys, some of which are heavily armed. You are the worst babysitter ever! You take control over one of the two siblings for the entire game. There's no difference between them other than a costume change that I'll go over later. Right now, it's up to whoever you choose to save the day by catching the monkeys, the new Freaky Monkey 5, confronting Dr. Tomoko who wants revenge against humans, and Spectre himself. Maybe that wasn't so short. The game is a simple platformer that has you run around trying to catch a certain amount of monkeys that's needed to advance to the next stage. After you clear enough stages, you'll take on one of the Freaky Monkey 5 who act as the bosses in this game. Why are they called the Freaky Monkey 5? I don't know about the other four, but this one shoots ninja stars through his nipples. And I think he likes it. The first time you play through the stage, there will always be more than enough monkeys to catch, so you won't find yourself combing the entire level until you find that one last dang monkey. However, there will be some monkeys you can't catch until you've beaten the game for the first time, so don't worry about backtracking until then. In order to catch them, you'll need the help of your good old-fashioned gadgets, such as every single one of them from the first game with the exception of that punching thing. The Super Hoop and the Sky Flyer are still my favorites, and the RC car seems to get a lot of attention this time. The one you'll use the most is the radar, since it tells you where the monkeys are located. The gadgets are mainly used to help you capture the monkeys that you can't reach unless you use them. It's almost like a puzzle, but it's pretty easy to tell which gadget you'll have to use, and they all work the same as before. Map to the four main buttons, and the second analog stick is how you use them. If you're wondering where the jump button is, it's the R2 button, and pushing it again makes you double jump. Sometimes you have to sneak up on a monkey by clicking down, or whatever it's called, on the left analog stick, as their helmets tell you just how alert they are. Sadly, there are no new items to help you catch the monkeys this time, which I did find a little disappointing. Instead, you get transformations! When you see the green bar full, or any of the tanks you might have bought, press R1 and R2 at the same time and choose a form. Fantasy Knights block face-on attacks and use their staffs to attack. Wild West kids have 6 shooters, and Dragon Kung Fu masters beat up everything. Then you have some of the more unique ones like the Genie Dancers that summon genies to dance putting enemies in a trance, as well as transporting through pots to activate switches. Cyber Ace, which lets you zip around and shoot lasers. Then there's my favorite, Miracle Ninja! Ninjas! The ninjas are faster, can tightrope walk, glide, run on walls, and summon copies. Ninjas rule! When going up against the Freaky Monkey 5, it's a lot easier to use the transformation that you recently received. There's another one, but it's only used to get the monkeys you couldn't get until you beat the game the first time. Whenever you get a new gadget or transformation, you can go into a training room to get a full understanding of how they work. It's recommended for new players, but you can skip it if you want to be confused later on. All of the transformations, except for the last one, let you catch the monkeys by clicking down on the left analog stick. I like this convenience. The simians aren't the only things you'll have to worry about. You'll have to take care of the helper robots who are trying to help the monkeys make their movies. Let me restate a few things. There are monkeys, robots, and you can become a ninja. Why isn't this game more popular? There's also race cars and mechs you can drive, but I'll go over that later. While on the search for monkeys, you might want to collect these other items such as gacha coins to buy things in the game's small hub world, including, but not limited to, more lives, energy tanks so you can be in a transformation more often, cutscenes, and music. Back to collecting stuff in the main game. Cookies for health, green tanks to refill your morph gauge, and shirts for extra lives. A bit of advice: if you collect enough items in a very short time limit, the items' values will increase. For example, collecting enough gacha coins will turn them into silver coins worth 5 instead of 1, and collecting the silver coins in a short time limit will make them worth 10 instead of 5. But if you don't collect even one of them in a certain time limit, they will revert back to their default value. Around the levels, you might also find the switch that when you step on it makes a short video with text that they call a film. However, if you captured a monkey before stepping on the switch or they're panicking, then you can't film a thing. Though it does sound like it contradicts stopping their broadcasting. As I stated at the beginning of this review, I absolutely loved Ape Escape on the PlayStation 1. Ape Escape 3 seems to hold up fairly well, though my issues with the game will come in the next section. For now, I want to go over what I enjoyed about this one. Using TV programs to hypnotize people is a cliché, but it does open up to levels with different environments and designs that make sense because of its theme. And with that same theme in mind, you get most of the monkeys in costumes, so it's always a chuckle to see one you recognize, including the one from the unlockable minigame, Metal Gear Solid. Now how can they do that without getting sued? Because it was requested by the man himself.
Looks like I'll need you to do the moving for me.
Once again, why isn't this more popular? Though it is a bummer that there are no new gadgets to use, the new transformations more than make up for it. It's always fun to play around with the costumes, especially, you know which one I'm going to talk about. The soundtrack doesn't have as many great tracks as the first one, but there are definitely some very catchy pieces. And at the end of the day, it's a solid platformer with many great uses for some of the gadgets, even if we've seen most of the uses for the gadgets before. You saw a transition and the background music has changed after talking about what I liked, so now you know it's time for me to go over any issues I have with the game. Well, for some small complaints, I'm not a fan of the cutscenes or the way the new characters are portrayed in this game. While it has always been kid-friendly, these characters and scenes are too much for even me to handle. It also tries to be funny, but comes out cheesy like this terrible running gag I almost used for this review. Yep, it can be that bad. Well, that's the only small complaint I have, but the big issue I have with it comes from the controls. The camera is still controlled by the D-pad, and if you want to get a better view of your surroundings, you'd have to stop moving or use two thumbs on the same side of the controller. Yes, the L1 button will center the camera, but I'd like to look at different angles as well. Remember those race cars and mechs I mentioned earlier? Well, they control like bad. They feel unpolished and frustrating to get the hang of. Hey, the first one got it right with things like the rowboat and tank, which even returned to this game, and control properly, so why do these feel so poorly done? Speaking of the first one, the controls had this sense of fluidity to them. For example, you could fly upwards in the direction you were moving using the Sky Flyer, but with this one, it takes you straight up, killing any momentum you had. And using the net only lets you swing in one direction before letting you take another chance at it. That first one let you move in a full circle in case you just barely or completely missed. Why did they change that? Another thing that was changed was using the net in the water. The first one let you shoot out in nets, making it much easier to catch the monkeys who wanted to go for a swim. Well, in this one, the net goes out in front of the device and from where you're pushing the second analog stick, meaning you have to be right next to the monkey and remember to push it in the right direction. Finally, the stun club doesn't live up to its reputation or name. In the first game, when you hit a monkey with a stun club, they went down, allowing you to catch them. In this one, it usually just ticks them off, and some of the monkeys can even take away your gadgets, which can happen every so often. It's still good for beating up those robots, but it's more fun to use the transformations. After all, what would you choose, a blue bat or ninja power? Yeah, it definitely feels like an item imbalance here. The whole game doesn't suffer too much from these issues, but due to how well the controls and the fluidity and how reliable your gadgets worked in the first game, it's easy to see which one I prefer. If you enjoyed the first one, you'll definitely get some enjoyment out of this one. It doesn't do too much to evolve the franchise, but the new transformations add some new potential. The controls and minor downgrades of the gadgets are the biggest offender here, which is weird since the controls should get better, not worse in future installments, something that took Sonic a long time to figure out. It's not the worst I've had to deal with, but we've definitely seen better. If you're looking for a solid platformer for your aging PS2, then you might want to give this one a shot. A 4 out of 5, a couple of flaws, but overall a good game. Ninjas Pono!